Go. Welcome, everybody. It is 11 o'clock in the villages. It's a beautiful day, and this is level 3. That means we are doing easy arrangements. Easy arrangements using what you have on your instrument and learning the buttons that you have, but not as complicated as my Monday and Wednesday class. Now, that being said, I do have a preset sheet for you. And I do this because I actually did several different things here. Why? Because in the middle of this song, and we're doing photographs and memories, we're going to have to change tempos. Yeah, it changes meters from one part of the song to the other. So you may want to set up presets to do that. And so I've just marked where and how. And then I also tried this on a fanfare, and I tried this without presets, and I tried it on an Easy 4. Easy 4 doesn't have presets, so you guys can change meter too. So we're with just a one button thing. So I'm going to explain to you how you can play this song and be successful using no presets. Okay? So stick with me for that. What do we know about this song? Photographs and Memories, Jim Croce, 1971. This is from the album of the same name, Photographs and Memories. The songs on the album were pretty much his best hits. Bad Bad Leroy Brown, Operator, Photographs and Memories, Time in a Bottle, Working at the Car Wash, I Got a Name, I'll Have to Say I Love You in a Song, and You Don't Mess Around with Jim. They're all hits. They're all hits. So, what happened to him? Anybody remember? He died in a plane crash September 30th, 1973 at the age of 30. What a loss of talent, huh? I mean, here he puts out an album, and every one of them, and most of them became hits posthumously because it was only 2 years later that he died. So all these songs were #1 hits. So if anybody had that album, that's a collector's item. All right, so Photographs and Memories, like I said, it is going to change meter in the middle of the song, and I had to experiment a little bit with what tempo to use and how to get the right feeling, and I think I got it pretty well. So we're going to go to one of the favorite rhythms, which is soft and easy guitars. On the big organs, it's just called guitars, because you don't have a soft and easy category. If you are on the smaller instruments, you can start with smooth guitars, and we're going to start it at 106.
Did you transpose this to F?
I did not. Why?
Isn't it an F?
It's in the key of F, but you don't do any transposing, Tom.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a misconception that if your song is written in the key of F, you should transpose your organ to F. Don't do that. You just transposed it into the key of B flat if you do that.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because transposing is about distances. This is about playing it exactly as you see it. Now, why do we need to know what key it's in? You need to know the scale? No! Do you need to know how many sharps and flats are in the scale? No, because it's going to tell you in your song. It's going to mark the sharps and flats that are there. So you don't need to know that. There's only one reason that we, the easy players, need to know what scale or what key the song is written in. And 99 times out of 100, it is the last chord. The last chord. So we need to know that for the intro. So if you're planning to use one of the intros, you would want to start it with an F, because that's going to put you in the right key, and it's also going to give you the tempo. Now personally, I'm not going to use any of the intros. I'm just going to play the chord and let it just play a couple of guitar riffs, because this is just a lot of strumming guitars. I'm actually using category country #2 to get a beautiful acoustic guitar on the top keyboard. I'm turning off the Orchestra Plus because I don't want much going on. I'm putting the lower volume up because we're going to be listening to that lower guitar. We want to hear that when we play a chord. We want to be able to hear that chord. And yes, I'm adding a few, and they're nothing hard. Nothing hard. Okay, so you're going to turn off any strings that are going on here because all you want is a guitar and your bass and your drums. So
and this
I'm
is
just going to...
A1, right?
Pardon?
This is A1.
This is A1. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And we'll go through and tell you where the changes are. And I just want you to listen first so you know what the song is all about. And that just fades out. Okay. Interesting song because it just kind of starts and it just kind of stops. And it changes meter in the middle. And if you don't do that, it's not going to work. And you all know where it did that. It's like the whole second part of the song, starting on page 155, third line, end of the third line. But we sure had a good time when we started way back when. Morning walks and bedroom talks. Oh, how I loved you then. Yeah. So it's a very pensive song. Of course, if you look at the title, that's what it's about, is looking at a picture and having all your memories come in. All right, so what did you hear besides, of course, the meter change that I did differently?
Different harmonies.
Different harmonies? Yeah, I did add a duet harmony for the second time I went. Very good. What else did I do? I started with the guitar, and then I went to... What did I add to it?
Strings.
Didn't add strings. I was thinking of adding strings. I didn't add them. I added a flute. So I've got a guitar and a flute combined. So you're going to have to add a flute to your guitar. So how do you do that? Well, you're going to have to find where it is. And there's in the A organs, it's right here in the solo section, and you just put jazz flute up or on. If you are on an organ where you have to put it in your sound, just touch your sound and either scroll to jazz flute, or you can put in sound number 264 and put up or on. and then you will have that flute along with your guitar for the second verse, or the second part of the verse, which is at the top of page 155. All right, so where did I make the changes? A1 starts the beginning of the song. At the bottom of the page, at the end of that measure, right before you go to the top of the page, A2 and A5. Second page, third line, third measure. In the middle of the measure, right in between those two notes, A3 and A6.
Did you say at the third measure or the third line?
Third line, third measure.
Okay.
Yep. Right before when I called you mine, and then it goes to the word but. Right there. That's where you want to go, A3 and A6. Third
you.
page. The third line is your first ending. At the end of the first ending, you're going to put A4. And where are you going back to? All the way back to the beginning of the song. This is really an easy road map. You just play it through once with the first ending, go back to the beginning, play it through a second time, and use the second ending. Questions on where to make the changes? And if you don't combine a guitar and a flute, it's okay. And I'm particularly talking about, like, if you're using a fanfare or an easy 4 or a journey. Now, fanfare, you can, of course, save your presets, which I do recommend because it's a lot easier. But if you're sitting on an easy 10 or an easy 4, how can you do this and make the changes? Well, you're going to start with probably smooth guitarist. Check your, and what you want to find is 2 rhythms. And I think smooth pianist is at 88, and smooth guitarist, I can't remember what it comes up at, like 100. That'll work. That'll work. Or guitar, gospel guitarist is good for this. And there was another one that I looked at that worked. So what do you want to do? You want to pick 2 rhythms with different tempos. And your tempos should be as close to 106 for the first one, or 100 or 110, something close. And for your second one, you want to pick something that's close to 70. So 64 to 72 is going to be fine. So pick something that's close. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start with the 1. When you get to A3 and A6, which is on that second page where you want to change meter, that's when you're going to hit stop. Do not just hit the no chord, because what happens if you just hit the no chord? If you just hit the no chord, let's say I'm using this. If I just hit the no chord and then go to a different rhythm, the tempo stays the same, and that's not what we're about. In this song, we want to change tempo in the middle of the song. So what we have to do is we have to find 2 that we want. Let's say guitars. We can do that. Let's see what I have here. Of course it won't work this way.
So you would go to a different rhythm?
You're going to a different rhythm, yes, is what you're doing.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
going to a different rhythm, but what I'm looking for, and I should have done it on this organ to
The
test
second time
it.
around, right?
You have to kind of find 2, one that's going to be different than the other, because you're not going to have time. If you don't have a way to save your presets, you are absolutely not going to have time to change your tempo. So what you have to do is pick 2 tempos that are going to be a little bit different. Okay, let's try this. Rumba Begin is actually 107. We could actually do that and use Rhythm Preset 1 gives you that nice guitar. So I could actually try that. Turn my duet off. Now, when I get to where I need to change the rhythm at A3 and A6, I'm going to hit the stop button. And then I'm going to touch a different rhythm, be it a soft and easy. Soft and easy guitars actually works fine because it comes up to 69. So then I can go to So you have to physically hit that stop button in between. So this is how people with easy 4s, easy 10s, instruments that you, or a fanfare journey where you don't really feel like memorizing your presets. You just have to pick two.
Dawn,
Yeah.
when we press stop, is that when is that on the preset sheet to
You won't
change
have to
rhythm?
do that. If you're using the preset sheet, you just go to the next preset because it's already set up for you.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
For people that can't or
Oh,
don't
I
feel like doing
understand. I
presets,
understand.
you can still do this. And yeah, I just found two that work. The Rumba Beguine at Rhythm Preset 1, or a Latin guitarist probably is about this same tempo, going to a smooth guitarist, and all you have to do is hit stop and do a one button push. But if you don't hit stop in between, it's not going to change the tempo.
Mhm.
So if that's the only lesson you learned today, then you did good. I'm going to put it on that Rumba Beguine, number 1, and I'm going to let's start at the top of the second page. Don't worry about the flute. Now you want to hit stop. Touch your soft and easy and start.
Wow, that makes
Be
a huge-
careful. The second one that you are doing at the slower tempo, you are actually playing it in cut time.
Mm.
So you just have to feel it. If don't play it in real time or it's going to be real slow. You still have to play it in cut time the way it's written here and feel it the way it is. By the way, I played the whole song an octave above where it's written.
Okay.
I played it up here. But that's just because it worked on the guitars that I have. Now, for those of you that are setting the presets, let's say you're setting the presets. All you got to do is from one to the other. Now, when you get to A3, you're on A2. Now I'm going to do a no chord, kick to the next one, a drum solo, and then make sure you just come on either beat 1 or beat 3 and you're good. And it comes naturally. So there you'd want to definitely do the no chord, kick your switch, do a little drum solo, and then come in.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel it. You'll feel it. This is a very interesting song because of that meter change in the middle. But everyone can do this. You just have to remember, even if you don't do presets, you just have to remember, find 2 rhythms that'll work. And it's usually going to be in the smaller instruments. And I know, Fred, you came in a little late. Your soft and easy, or your smooth guitarist, and your gospel guitarist, or your Latin guitarist. And if you don't like those, try some of the pianist ones. But you're looking for 2 tempos. One is going to be between 100 and 110, and the other one is going to be between 64 and 72.
Okay,
And
thank
all
you.
you're going to do is stop in between and change your rhythm.
Okay.
And you can do it. Everyone can do this one. Okay, questions about that? I think this is the first time we've ever had a song, at least in this level, where we had to do a drastic change.
Mhm.
Where did presets 8, 2, and 5 go?
A2 and A5 go at the very bottom of page 154. Right
Thank
before
you.
right before you go into the memories that come at night. And that's where I'm combining the guitar and the flute. I'm just doing the guitar for the first one. Then I'm adding a flute to the second one. Then I changed the meter, but I left it at guitar and flute. Then when I went back to the beginning, I took the flute off and added a duet,
Mhm.
just to make it different. Then put the flute back in here, kept the duet on for the rest of the song. So subtle changes, but that biggest change is that change in meter where you've got to change the tempos or it's not going to work. Questions? It's a pretty song.
Mhm.
All right, now let's do some chords. If you only learn one chord, I would like you to learn the first chord. Make that F an F major 7, capital M-A-J 7. Why? Because that's going to give you the sound for this song. It's going to set the tone. It is E and F at the same time instead of just F. That E added in there really sets the tone to the song. Line 2, do the same thing. Make that F an F major 7, capital M-A-J 7, E and F. Third line, your G minor may have a 7 on it, or not, because that's a kind of a tough chord anyway. Fourth line, the G minor may have a 7 on it. Top of the second page, 155. Make that first F an F major 7, E and F. Then you have a B flat. Then the next F, make that also an F major 7. Like I said, if that's the only chord you learn, actually it's the only change that's really in this song. Line 2, second measure. You may put a 7 on the G minor. Line 3, you can put a 7 on the G minor and on the C. Then you're going to put a no chord right after that C7 chord. And you may want to also write no chord drum solo so that you can get to that next rhythm. And if you are on a non-preset instrument, you want to put 2 double lines and write the word stop. Do not do a no chord there. You're going to just write the word stop, and that's where you're going to press your next rhythm.
Now, do you do the no chord before the stop? No,
You're not doing the
and then
stop.
no
No,
chord.
you're not doing the stop. You're going to the next preset. Do a no chord if you're going to the next preset,
Okay, fine.
because the next preset will
Oh, of
change the
course.
meter.
Yeah.
You just have to be prepared for it. And if you listen to the song the way he sings it, he actually does have a little bit of a break in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last line on that second page, make that F an F major 7. E and F. Turn the page, go to page 3. Make the F at the top of the page an F major 7. Second line, make the F an F major 7. And then we're going to go to the second ending. Second ending. Cross off the C7 and the F at the end, because we're going to play all of our notes first, and then we are going to play those 2 chords. So I'm writing them in at the end of the song, C7 and F major 7 at the end of the song.
after F.
Yeah, cross out the C, cross out the F, and then right there at the last two beats, you can just write C7 and F major 7. And the last F in the right hand, cross it out and change it to an E. You're just going to stay on an E. He stays on that E. It makes it very pensive.
What on the that E's on the third line?
No, it's on the first line. You're on an E already. You're on an E. We're on the fourth line here, and we're on A, E, 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 and to cross out that F and make that an E as well on that first line.
Okay.
Because if you notice, you're playing an F major 7 to end the song. The E is actually in the F major 7, so it's going to work. It's interesting to end that song on the major 7 of the chord, and it just kind of hangs in the air then, and then the song ends.
Mhm.
And it just makes you stop and go, See how that works? But you want to play those last two chords after you play the final E. And no, we're not going to an F at all.
Mhm.
I know why they did it in Hal Leonard, because it makes easy play musical sense to end on the same note as the chord. But we're not going to do that. That's not how he sang it. Questions?
Nice.
Not a hard song, but you do have to get that change in meter or it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And you can all do it. You can all do it. Try it, and I think you'll amaze yourself and go, "Oh, wow, that actually works. I can hit stop and I can go to another rhythm and come in at a different meter, different tempo." Yeah, it does work. It's pretty cool. All right. Let's do some fingering. And then we'll play it again. And then we can go to the beach, and it's early.
It's interesting though to see, I remember the song
Mhm.
and I remember him stopping. It's different.
Mhm. It is. It's a very pretty song, but it's not like a normal song. All right, let's do fingering. F5, C2, C2, A1, B flat 2, D4, D4. Second line, C1. Now you can use either a 2 or a 3. I'm just going to pick one. F3, 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 G4, A5, A5, check mark. Two different ways you can do this next run. Let's do B flat 4, A3, G2, A3, G2, G2, F1, check mark. If you're doing different fingering and it works, that's fine. I actually have two of them listed here. C1, C1, D2, G5, G5. Check mark. Let's go to the top of the page. F5, C2, C2, A1, B flat 2, D4, D4. C1, F3, F3, F3. Next line, G4, A5, A5. It's all repeat. Check mark, B flat 4, A3, G2, A3, E1, G3. Next line, G3, F2, C1, C1, D2, G5, G5. Check mark. A4 at the end of the line, A4, A4, A4. G3, G3, F2, F2, F2. G3, A4, A4, F2, F2. Second line, G3, A4,
Dawn,
A4.
I lost you.
Oh, okay, where are you?
On the second page, the last line.
Second page, last line. Let's start there again.
Okay.
Second page, last line. A4, A4, A4,
Mm-hmm.
G3, G3,
Mhm.
F2, F2, F2.
Yep.
Turn the page. G3, A4, A4, F2, F2. Third page, second line. G3, A4, A4, G3, G3, F2, F2, G3. Third line, first ending, A4, E1, 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 E1. Second ending, fourth line, F4, E1, 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 E1. Not a difficult song, but yeah, you do have to get that meter change. I'm going to play the whole thing again, and now that you know where all the changes are, you can follow along. Am I on the right one? Yeah, I am. And then just let that fade off in the distance.
That's pretty.
Interesting song. Yeah. Very cool. Okay. Next week, yeah, this one was short today. That's all right. Next week we'll do sailing, Christopher Cross.
That's 4 pages long.
Sounds like me and Sherry.
5 pages long. Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's a
Yes,
long
right.
one.
Yes, it is.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
That's all right.
Oh,
That's okay. This is a beautiful song too.
okay.
Beautiful song too, and we'll do some good
Yeah.
stuff with that one. I have taught this one before, and I have an interlude and I have an ending for it. And yeah, because the ending on this, if you take a look on page 161, your coda, take a look at your coda.
No lyrics.
Nothing. There's nothing. No, I'm going to give you an ending that you're going to be able to just cut and paste and play an ending, and it's going to make more sense. Yeah.
Just chords.
Just chords. Yeah. No, you're going to actually play something.
Okay. You're gonna put some notes in. Okay.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
All
Yep.
right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You guys are the bestest.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Have a good
You
weekend.
too, Dawn. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Maybe see a doctor.
Give him money for nothing.
Yep, I agree with you, Freddie.